So it's important that you lay out your tools on the table so that you can easily access them. You're going to have 5 students that are going to be wanting to use all the tools, so you can see how it's nice to have things organized. You've got your fittings, you've got your crimps, you've got your crimping tool, and short bits of PEX pressure piping. I recommend that you actually leave that short little length at the bottom of the copper fitting. That way we don't accidentally snip the wall connection. So just every student should actually get a chance to try cutting a piece of the PEX piping. Be nice to cut some pieces for the pressure water system. What we have to do is pick whether the student is going to be doing a 90-degree or a union to join 2 pieces. So once you pick the piece, you put the sleeve over top of the PEX pipe and you slide the PEX fitting into it. Put the sleeve back just a bit from the end of the pipe. This makes it easier to take off later and also shows that there's a bit of plastic pipe on both sides of the crimp. And the crimping tool takes a bit of pressure. Sometimes students may have to wedge it against something and then push with all their might. And it's pretty satisfying when they actually go right through it, and it automatically stops itself. So once the PEX fitting is put onto it, you'll probably want them to crimp it right in place. But for the first one, the student may want to put it right on the bench, or you have to see. Some students may not be capable of working up at the wall unit, and so you have to be flexible with that. But the idea is to, just slide the piece of PEX fitting or pipe on, put the crimp on, and then crimp in place. The idea is that we're going to apply pressure water to this system once each student has had a chance to put one fitting in. So every student that goes through plumbing should be able to crimp one PEX fitting. And so that's quite a quick operation for the students. Once that whole group has put the pressure water together, then we're going to take a washing machine connector which has 2 female ends on it, and we're going to connect it up to our water line from outside, regular hose fitting, and then the other side fits to what's called a hose bib, and that's what you would see on the outside of your house, and we just fasten that, and that way we have a valve to be able to control the water in case there's a lot of leaks that happen once you turn the pressure water system on. Now before we can actually turn this pressure water system on, we're going to have to make sure that we actually have the other end of the piping set up. But I'm just going to show you how to disassemble the PEX fittings after you finish, because one group will finish, then you quickly have to cut the pipe. Make sure that you don't cut the brass fitting with the cutting tool, because it will dull it. And then we've got a ring tool that snips the ring, and that cuts it in half, and then I recommend just rotating it and then putting another cut on the back side, and then it just slides right off the fitting. So this is what you would do after you've done all the pressure fitting and the students are getting close to finishing. So now we're actually getting close to hooking up our water line. So the water line is actually just a little flexible pipe that needs a adjustable wrench. So there's one end is larger than the other, so the students really can't go wrong. But they're actually connecting up the sink taps to the pressure water system, which they just finished crimping on the other side. So this actually is going to complete that line, so that when we actually turn the pressure water on, make sure that the valve is turned off at the sink, and then you'll turn water on, and if the drain water pipe is all hooked up, then the water should flow right down through the drains and out into that little gray basin that should be underneath the drain pipe. Make sure you clean up after you finish.